An Australian citizen who says he was abducted and tortured in Sri Lanka has arrived home in Sydney to tell his story. Kumar Gunaratnam disappeared in Sri Lanka at the weekend, just days before he was due to launch a new opposition party. But Sri Lankan authorities insist they did not abduct him, as Amy Bainbridge reports.
Kumar Gunaratnam is safely back home in Australia with his family.
I have no doubt that if I didn't have the Australian government support, I would have been killed just like my brother and hundreds of other political activists and journalists have been killed. I can confirm I was abducted by the Sri Lankan government forces, blindfolded me and tortured. This includes, I'm embarrassed to say, sexual torture.
Mr Gunaratnam says he was handcuffed and his ankles were bound while he was detained. He'd been in the country since September, ahead of launching a new left-wing political party.
It's totally political because the inauguration of our party was due to held on the 9th of April, and I was abducted on the 7th, and they knew that the media on the media it came out and that I was going to make a speech on the 9th of April, so they wanted to capture before that.
The Sri Lankan government says Mr Gunaratnam used a number of different names to travel to and from the country, and he was not abducted by police.
He has not been detained by Sri Lankan authorities. There is no secret police in Sri Lanka. There's a police force and other elements of the police force which conduct criminal investigations. So he has never been arrested nor taken away by anybody from the government.
Mr Gunaratnam was a member of the JVP in the late 1980s, a Marxist group that tried to overthrow the government. He denies he committed any human rights abuses as a JVP member.
I've been an activist in the JVP for a long time. Everybody knows that, and I'm not an undercover or anything like that but I had to go I had to meet some problems because of the government undemocratic activities.
My understanding, or my guess would be, from what this gentleman was trying to do, was that he was trying to form a legitimate left-wing party which was somehow returning to a real left-wing framework in Sri Lanka, which the JVP had long left behind.
Gordon Weiss has worked for the United Nations in Colombo and has written about the country's civil conflict.
I don't see a legitimate opposition rising in Sri Lanka in the near future. Firstly, the government of Mahinda Rajapaksa is genuinely popular and it was popularly elected. But secondly, because the opposition is in disarray.
Mr Gunaratnam hasn't decided if he'll return to Sri Lanka, but says he will stay involved in politics. Amy Bainbridge, Late Line.